Welcome to our February 2nd edition of Golden Black Live. I want to thank our sponsors, Triple X on the hill, but on the level, a Purdue tradition since 1929. I'm going to guess they were packed after that Purdue Northwestern game on Wednesday night. We always talk when Tom joining here in segment one, but Tom and I need to get over there soon. Have a Dwayne Purvis burger. Yes. We'll do that. State Farm agent Trent Johnson at Trent is my agent.com. And saw Trent at the game on Wednesday. Tom, I got to start with that because you and I shared that when we were sitting right next to each other. About as crazy, one of the craziest games I've seen. You've been going there a long time. I've been going there a long time. I think you were 2 years old when the building was built. I was there when it opened the first time. But just an amazing basketball game. And Northwestern brought everything to the table. What did Dave Revson say, Tom, on Wednesday night? No team in 763 games has scored 95 points, shot 55% from the field, 20 assists, and less than 10 turnovers. Northwestern, the first team to lose in that scenario. What's that say about Purdue, maybe? I mean, it was an unreal situation.
Yeah. I always think to myself, having watched sports for years, Alan, good teams always find a way to win games like that.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's the funniest thing, isn't it, Alan? And that's a sign of a good team. When you can find a way to win a game you shouldn't win. And Purdue had a lot of reasons not to deserve to win that game last night. But you know what, Alan, they did. And how many times have I ever left Mackey muttering to myself, gosh darn it, Purdue was the better team, but they didn't find a way to win maybe at some point or another. But yeah, I think it speaks volumes for Purdue. And I think I was at the post game last night, and I can't remember if it was Braden Smith. They were asked sort of that type of a question, about finding a way to win, and he talked about how the players have each other's back, and they got that punch in the nose, Alan. And you know what? They didn't flinch. Things weren't going their way, Alan, and you know what? They kept on plodding forward, and they found a way to win. There was no divisiveness from the way the players were talking last night. So that says a lot. And Alan, the best teams are led by the players, not the coaches.
Yeah.
They always say the coaches got to lead you. You're going to have a tough time winning the games. So obviously that speaks volumes about the leadership, I think, of this team. Ethan Morton's, I know, a key leader for that squad. And yeah, just, it wasn't pretty, Alan, but like I said, they found a way to win. That free throw discrepancy, too. 46 for Purdue attempts. I think Northwestern had 8. And Chris Collins in the postgame, I'm sure everybody's seen it a million times now, of course, highlighted that. I think that was the point of his postgame rant. On the field, actually on the court antics, I say.
Yeah.
And I can't remember many free throw discrepancies of that ilk, but yeah, it was just a barn burner. Now, and I'll be honest with you, if I was watching at home, I probably would have turned it off. I couldn't bear to watch, but I was forced to sit. I was forced to sit there, right, for me. And now I got one of the better memories of my life for as far as Purdue basketball goes.
5 points down with 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go, and Northwestern doing what they were doing. Dead in the water was the thing I think I muttered to you when sitting next to you that was that. Chris Collins, right. I've not seen many box scores like that. I think Chris Collins is very well respected. In general, Matt Painter went out of his way to talk about what a great job he has done with Northwestern, and he has. I mean, for a team that's not ranked, this is a good basketball team. If Purdue gets a third shot at them, or Northwestern gets a third shot at Purdue in the Big Ten tournament, I don't know if you're Purdue if you want that. But talk about Chris Collins and being able to hold together. But I've been in that building a long time, not seen a tirade quite like that. But then he goes down and shakes Painter's hand and hugs Zach Edey. I thought that was really actually and he was enraged, but he held it together to do that. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, if you go to Knucklehead Central, to get the perspectives on the Collins post game on court antics. Some people, could sympathize with him, and other people thought it was still Bush League. But Alan Karpic, it was entertaining.
Oh, it was
And,
entertaining.
I couldn't figure out, I was trying to figure out what he initially was mad about. I didn't know until I came home and watched somebody had put on Twitter. I thought maybe he thought a foul should have been called, but there was no Purdue player committed a foul. I think it was all orchestrated. He knew he was going to do this, and others
Yeah,
have pointed this out. It's not my thought, but it seems like it was probably orchestrated. He wanted to show his team that he was going to stand
yeah,
up, or maybe want to send a message. He would. Somebody tried to bait him in the presser about commenting on the officiating. He didn't go there.
yeah.
Uh, he had a cooler head by that point, but he was certainly hot to go run right out on the court to confront that official who really, matter of factly and very quickly teed him up. Then Boo Booey got the technical too. And then at that point I saw a police officer on the court.
Yeah, they brought the security on the court.
I
The
don't know if
whole
I've ever
security.
seen that.
I
Or
never
knife
have seen
trying
that.
to
Never seen
restrain
that.
him. They were trying to save him from himself there.
Yeah.
Sometimes, we all know, sometimes we've been there ourselves. You kind of get in a fit of rage where you really lose all common sense. And Chris Collins probably was in that fit of rage for a while. So, and then he kind of composed himself, like you said, Alan, and, kind of bizarrely went over and acknowledged Matt Payne and then shook Zach Edey's hand, then kind of incited the crowd. More as he went up the tunnel. So, yeah, it was an exit unlike any I can ever recall seeing in Mackey Arena.
Yeah, common friend Jane Schott, wife of Tom Schott,
Yes.
is a girls basketball coach at West Lafayette. I happened to see her on Thursday morning real early, and she said, "Yeah, there was a game where I got out of half court, and I didn't even know why I was there. I just all of a sudden lost my mind." And Jane is
Yeah, you
a
do.
great teacher, a very focused person, kind of like Chris Collins. It just happened. But I know the Lance Jones, I think he was upset about the potential hook there. But yeah, I agree with you. I think he was sending a message to keep his team competitive because they've got a huge game for them when they go to Minnesota this weekend. They don't want to. They said you don't want to let Purdue beat you twice. Purdue obviously also that big game on Sunday at Wisconsin. All right, your day job. You're an excellent analyst of all sports, but college football and Purdue football is that you had an interesting experience Wednesday getting a chance to talk to a number of the newcomers for the stuff that'll be on the Boilermaker Alliance, but also we'll have stuff on our site about that. But just tell me about your impressions of some of the guys, not only from a physical standpoint, but what you heard and saw in the interviews.
Yeah, I got a chance to speak to maybe 10 or 11 of the transfer portal guys, one of the junior college transfers. Like you said, Alan, on camera interviews for the Boilermaker Alliance. So if you're a subscriber to the Alliance, those videos will be posted here at some point. I think they're going to drip and drab them out.
Yeah.
I did a 100-yard walk with Dylan Thieneman, and yeah, impressive young men just from my brief interactions. The Georgia guy, CJ Madden, certainly passes the eyeball test, an outside linebacker, and CJ Smith and the other wide receiver, Denylon Morissette. CJ Smith, I will say this, he even wears a necklace that says Zoom on it. Uh, he's the burner, obviously, and it's not self-anointed. He's one of the fastest kids in Florida coming out of high school. Spent a lot of his youth in Hawaii. But again, keep your eye on CJ Smith, the Georgia wide receiver. With that speed, boy, he can take the top off a defense, and that's the type of speed Purdue has not had at the position. I don't know, maybe ever, Alan. They never really have a lot of those true burners. But keep your eye on CJ Smith and the junior college transfer, the offensive tackle, Jaquan Bolden, biggest man on the roster, 6'5", 6'6", 350 pounds, and talked to a couple of the other offensive linemen, Joshua Sales from IU and DJ Wingfield of New Mexico. Again, certainly, Alan, these guys they passed the proverbial eyeball test, and they seem like good people, the spring practice will be starting I think it's about the week after spring break in about mid-March or so. So, Cam Brown, the wide receiver from UCLA, this will be his third school. He's actually the son of Larry Brown, who was the MVP of Super Bowl 30 as defensive back for the Dallas Cowboys. So I tried to glean some other tidbits on these guys as well. But yeah, it's just going to be exciting, Alan. Reggie Love, the Illinois running back, I spoke with him. I think he's going to be a good complement to Devin Mockabee. And I know there's a lot of pieces here, Alan, but I'm really excited about the offensive line, number one. Much more depth now, quality depth, experience depth, really helped that unit out. And the receivers too, right? We all know the attrition Purdue suffered there via the portal with Deion Burks and TJ Sheffield, Abdur Rahman Yassin, Mershawn Rice. They're all gone. Who was going to catch passes now? If you look at the veterans, there's not much. Jaden Dixon Veal. So they really need the wide receivers, Al, and I'm eager to watch these receivers in addition to the offensive line in spring football. And real quick, too, next Wednesday, signing day, which used to be the big high holiday in
Yeah,
college
yeah,
football,
yes,
and
it
now it's
was.
sort of an afterthought. But don't expect much from Purdue then. But I'm bringing it up because there is one player they could sign that day. I think it's that junior college wide receiver, Leland Smith. Um, but again, if they sign anybody outside of him, I'm not sure. But again, now they could add another piece to their wideout puzzle, maybe next week. So keep that on your radar.
All right, Purdue got its fifth commitment this week. Also, Rashad Jones, class of 2025. Guy was after some good schools were after him as well. Any
Hmm.
sense, or a sense, I should say? I know you have any sense of what that means, but also just kind of where that class is going. Obviously, they've got the quarterback in there with Sawyer
Yeah.
Anderson as well. But what was your takeaway on that?
Yeah, he's an outside linebacker from Belleville, Michigan, the same high school as Deion Burks.
Yeah,
Uh, a guy who right now has a little bit more potential than production. And it's just a nice start to this 2025 class for Purdue with the five commitments. They got, I think it was last spring, Keelan Abrams, another edge player from Texas. They have a running back from Akron, Zaire Stevens. You mentioned Rashad Jones, the most recent commit, another edge guy. Quarterback Sawyer Anderson, Allen. They list him at 5'10". He's one of those shorter quarterbacks, but you know what? When we grew up, short quarterbacks are almost taboo. You had Fran
yeah.
Tarkenton. How about a Fran Tarkenton reference for you today, Alan?
There you go. If he can
But
scramble like
anyways,
Fran, he's good.
Sawyer Anderson's guy. He's obviously uber talented, and we all know shorter quarterbacks can get things done. And then Allen, right now, the cream of the crop so far in this very small class, Terrion Grant. They got a couple weeks ago, four-star player, a truly elite cornerback from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. He probably is going to end up being the best recruit in this class. I know it has a long way to go, but again, he's a special player. The question is going to be, can the Boilermakers hold on to him, Alan? It's a long way till next December. Where
Oh
will
my
we be
God.
next? Where will we be next December, Alan Carbeck? Gosh,
I I don't know, but that's 10 months
let's hope. Let's hope.
away.
Let's hope we're
So
still above ground and
yeah,
live.
exactly.
Yeah, can they keep Terrion Grant until next December? We'll see. But he's a special player, and obviously, Alan, junior day this weekend, and they're getting more players in. And then really looking ahead June. That's the big month for these recruits. A lot of kids commit in June. That Purdue has their camps over here just across Northwestern Avenue. But now they got a nice started with five players, and it'll be fun to watch this group continue to develop.
Yeah, it will be an interesting storyline, and will be be, as we always say, head on a swivel for Coach Ryan
Mhm.
Walters, for Tom Dienhart, and others that are watching this, because it will be an active session over the next 10 months, just
Mhm.
to see what you see today may not be what you will probably guaranteed will not be what you see in 20 or in December 2024. But sounds good from a Ryan Walters standpoint that they're off to a good start from that standpoint. So that will be an
And then
interesting time.
lastly, too, a bit of
Yes,
news
sir.
last week. It's been on the site a couple of times, but now we're on a video. Just they're bringing in a defensive analyst, Andy
Yes,
Boo,
yes. I wanted to ask you about
B-U,
that. Go ahead.
B-U-H, just pronounced Boo. Nice pickup. A veteran guy who's been a defensive coordinator at several schools. Was at Illinois, Allen, was the
Yeah.
linebackers coach at Illinois. So obviously he's worked with Ryan Walters and Kevin Kane and Joe Deneen and Grant O'Brien and Corey Patterson, all those guys. So the ex-Illinois fraternity adds another to their ranks in West Lafayette. And kind of guy, like I said, a veteran to bring to your staff to work as a defensive analyst can't be anything but good. Like I said, when you get a set of eyeballs like that helping you out now too.
All right, Tom. Great stuff as always. Like I said, I just like sitting next to you. We can rehash all the old
You can
times as we
stretch
just sit
out.
there in Mackey Arena and spread out, and had
Alan
had
was
a
sitting
fun night.
Alan was sitting by Mason Gillis's mother. I never would have guessed that was Mason Gillis's mother.
And a lovely lady. She and I
Like a
have
nice
Tammy
lady,
is
yeah.
we don't talk. I don't ask her any inside secrets. She's a good mom, and
Yeah.
hard to contain yourself when she handles herself extremely well in those situations, and has enjoyed making the road trip, watching her son over the last 4 years at Purdue. And boy, what a player Mason Gillis is as well.
So underrated.
No, and she raised him well. I mean, there's no doubt that that part he's a tough dude, but he does a lot of the dirty work for Purdue. All right, we will take a short break and come back with the voice of Purdue basketball, who was right in front, or Chris Collins and Matt Painter were right in front of him on Wednesday night. We'll ask him about that. We'll also talk some Wisconsin, Nebraska basketball too, because that's a big game on Sunday for Purdue as the Boilermakers take on the Badgers at Cole Fieldhouse Sunday at around 1 o'clock Eastern. So we'll be back in a couple minutes on Gold and Black Live.